Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to the AEW Dynamite review. Dynamite tonight was from the Kia Forum in Los Angeles, California, and this was the Fallout show from Double or Nothing, which was on Sunday. And Dynamite tonight, this show was awful, in my opinion. Show was absolutely terrible. I mean, we did get some build towards Forbidden Door. But overall, Dynamite was just terrible, in my opinion, tonight. But tonight on Dynamite, we had Swerve Strickland versus Killshot. And we also had a IWGP World Championship Eliminator match. Jon Moxley versus Rocky Romero. Then we have the TBS Championship on the line, where Mercedes Mone defend the title against Skye Blue. Mercedes Mone end up defeating Will Nightingale at Double or Nothing to win the TBS Championship. Then we had a Casino Gauntlet match, where the winner will face Swerve Strickland for the World Championship at Forbidden Door. Pretty much that was the Dynamite card for tonight. But I'm going to give my thoughts on Double or Nothing, which Double or Nothing, I thought it was a very mid-show in my opinion. I fell asleep towards the main event. So, but we had Deonna Purrazzo versus Thunder Rosa, which was on the buy-in, which, was a decent match, but Deonna Purrazzo ended up winning the match by defeating Thunder Rosa. We had the Acclaimed versus the Cage of Agony, Brian Cage, Toa Leona, and Bishop Khan trios match. And I thought it was, just a, okay match, okay trios match. Of course, the Acclaimed end up winning, and that was also on the buy-in. And then we went to the pay-per-view, and the pay-per-view kicked off with Ospreay, Will Ospreay versus Roderick Strong for the International Championship. Of course, Roderick Strong was accompanied by Matt Taven and Mike Bennett, and this was a good match here. Will Ospreay was just, very good in this match here, working on Roderick Strong, and Will Ospreay ended up winning the match. He is the new International Champion, so good on Will Ospreay. Then we had the Trios match for the Unified World Trios Championship. The Bang Bang Gang, Jay White, Austin Gunn, and Colton Gunn versus the Death Triangle, Pac, Penta El Zero Miedo, and Rey Fenix, which I thought it was, just a okay match. You had the Bang Bang Gang ended up winning the match. Then we had Timeless Toni Storm versus Serena Deeb for the Women's World Championship. This match just was meh, in my opinion. But Toni Storm ended up retaining the Women's World Championship. Obviously, they weren't going to give it to Serena Deeb because, she just ended up returning. So, with Serena Deeb returning, they're not just going to be like, oh, yeah, we're going to put the title already on Serena Deeb. But Serena Deeb has to work her way up into getting, a shot, another shot at it. So but overall, just a very meh match it was. Orange Cassidy versus Trent Beretta, which I did not give a shit about. This feud needs to end. But we had Trent Beretta do something to Orange Cassidy tonight on Dynamite, which I'll get to, meaning that this feud is going to continue. I don't give a fuck about this Orange Cassidy Trent Beretta feud. Put it to rest. But Orange Cassidy ended up defeating Trent Beretta. Then we had Chris Jericho versus Hook and Katsuyori Shibata, three-way FTW rules match for the FTW Championship. Chris Jericho ended up winning. Not surprised. He retains the FTW Championship. Smiley Jericho. God, wait until I talk about that awful Learning Tree segment that we saw on Dynamite tonight. Holy shit. Then we had Jon Moxley versus Konosuke Takeshita, IWGP World Heavyweight Championship Eliminator match. If Takeshita won, he will receive a future shot at the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. This match could have just been on Dynamite or Collision. This did not need to be on the pay-per-view. But of course, Moxley ended up winning. So Takeshita does not receive a future shot at the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. So, no surprise, Moxley won. Then we got Adam Copeland versus Malachi Black. This was a barbed wire steel cage match for the TNT Championship. In my opinion, this was the best match of the night, in my opinion. Very bloody and very physical match between Copeland and Malachi Black. You had both of them, start bleeding. But it was just a, good match. In my opinion, the best match of the night. You had Copeland end up winning, retaining the TNT Championship, which sadly Copeland has to relinquish the TNT Championship because yesterday he posted a video on his X page and he confirmed that he fractured his tibia in the barbed wire steel cage match. And it's going to require surgery. So, he goes and gets the surgery. He will be out for, a while. So he's going to have time to heal up, after the surgery. But yeah, the TNT Championship was relinquished by Copeland. Then you have Mercedes Moné versus Will Nightingale for the TBS Championship. And obviously, this was predictable. We all knew that Mercedes was going to win the TBS Championship. Will Nightingale was just a transitional champion. And at the end of the match, you had Chris Statlander turn heel on Will Nightingale. She ends up throwing the friendship bracelet that Willow gave her at Willow. And so now Chris Statlander aligns, with Stokely Hathaway. But overall, the match itself, it was, okay. But obviously Mercedes was going to win the title. Then you had Swerve Strickland versus Christian Cage for the World Championship, which, at this point, I was already asleep because this went on, I think, about 11:30, maybe. So, but Swerve ended up retaining the title. He ended up retaining the World Championship. And the main event was the Anarchy in the Arena match, the Elite, the Young Bucks, Kazuchika Okada, and Jack Perry versus Team AEW, which consists of Bryan Danielson, Darby Allin, Cash Wheeler, and Dax Harwood. Apparently, from what I heard, this match went on for almost 30 minutes. And the show didn't end, from what I heard, until 12:30 or after 12:30. But I saw, of course, the video where Darby Allin ended up having the flamethrower. He ended up lighting Jack Perry on fire. But the Elite ended up winning the match. No surprise there. So overall, double or nothing, from what I've seen, all the way up until, Mercedes Moné, Will Nightingale, was just very mid, in my opinion. It was a mid show. But anyways, let's jump right into the Dynamite review. Dynamite opened up tonight with the new TBS champion, Mercedes Moné, the CEO. So Mercedes ended up making her way down to the ring. The ring was decorated with balloons. So the crowd was chanting CEO to Mercedes. Mercedes ended up getting on the mic, and she ended up greeting the crowd there in Los Angeles telling them to say hello to their CEO and new TBS champion. Mercedes ended up asking if she was worth the wait, that she said money changes everything. And she ended up saying that is exactly what she did at Double or Nothing. Mercedes ended up saying not only did we celebrate 5 years of AEW, but we celebrated the in-ring return of the greatest of all time, in her. And I gotta say, Mercedes' new finisher looks absolutely fucking awful. What an awful finisher, for Mercedes, her new finisher. So Mercedes ended up saying that she is proud to say that her and Willow tore the house down on Sunday at Double or Nothing. And Mercedes ended up saying that she could have told Willow that Chris Statlander and Stokely Hathaway would have screwed her. She ended up saying that she hopes that when Will Nightingale comes back, she beats them up both. So Mercedes ended up saying being the CEO and TBS champion puts a big target on her back. She ended up saying that she was born and ready to do this. So then Mercedes got interrupted by Skye Blue. Skye Blue was on the Titantron, and she ended up saying that she has a gift for Mercedes. So we end up looking back at when Mercedes was attacked during her interview a few weeks back, where the lights end up shutting off and then Mercedes was laid out. So Skye Blue ended up calling it some of her best work, but the best is yet to come. So yes, Skye Blue was the one who attacked Mercedes during her interview. So Mercedes ended up demanding Skye Blue to come out. Skye Blue ended up obliging. She ended up rolling into the ring, and she blindsided Mercedes. Skye Blue then laid Mercedes out, and she ended up standing over Mercedes with the TBS Championship in hand, and she retreated up the ramp as Mercedes Mone ended up grabbing her TBS Championship. So pretty much that was basically that. Uninteresting opening to open Dynamite tonight. Very uninteresting. And then we had the first match of the night. Swerve Strickland versus Killswitch. And this was an okay match here. Wasn't great or perfect by any means. We had them advertising the House of the Dragon series on HBO. It was on the LED barricade and the LED, apron, which, I never watched Game of Thrones. It's not a show that I will watch. I'm not interested in it. It's not my cup of tea, though. Never watched Game of Thrones when it was on, although I heard it ended pretty shitty. So Swerve ended up coming out first. He was accompanied by Prince Nana. Of course, Prince Nana doing the dance. So Killswitch ended up making his way down to the ring next, and the match ended up getting underway. We had both Swerve and Killswitch end up circling the canvas. Swerve ended up trying to lock up on Killswitch. Killswitch ended up sending Swerve over the top rope. Swerve got back into the ring. He ended up catching Killswitch with a neck breaker, and he ended up bringing Killswitch to the apron. So now both guys end up spilling to the outside. Swerve ended up sending Killswitch toward the barricade, and Killswitch turned things around on Swerve, and he started laying into Swerve. Killswitch continued his attack on Swerve. He brought Swerve around the ringside area with some strikes. Swerve ended up getting back into the ring, and Killswitch ended up following Swerve, and Killswitch remained in control of the match here as Dynamite went to commercial. Then as Dynamite came back from the commercial, Swerve ended up catching Killswitch with a triangle hold, and he ended up sending Killswitch to the ropes. Swerve ended up taking Killswitch out with a kick to his back. So Swerve ended up hitting the gritty to knock Killswitch, and then he ended up taking Killswitch back down for a near fall. So Swerve ended up bringing Killswitch back to his feet. He was looking to go for the big pressure, but Killswitch ended up sending Swerve into the corner. Swerve fought back, but he was then caught with a headbutt and a chokeslam by Killswitch. So Killswitch ended up going for the cover. Swerve ended up kicking out. So Killswitch ended up sending Swerve up on the apron. He ended up heading out of the ring, and he ended up grabbing a steel chair. So he ended up rearing back with the chair. Prince Nana ended up managing to pull the chair away from Killswitch, and it gave Swerve the opening to get up, which Swerve ended up eventually landing a swerve stomp from the apron onto Killswitch. Swerve then ended up bringing Killswitch back into the ring. He went up to the top rope, and Killswitch ended up getting up to go after Swerve. So Swerve ended up getting caught with another choke slam from Killswitch, and Killswitch ended up delivering a standing moonsault on Swerve. Killswitch ended up going for the cover. Swerve ended up kicking out. So we had Swerve ended up hitting a house call on Killswitch. He ended up going up to the top, and Swerve ended up hitting the swerve stomp, and we had Swerve ended up going for the cover, and Killswitch ended up kicking out. So Swerve then ended up connected with another house call on Killswitch. Swerve ended up going for the cover, and there you go. Swerve Strickland ended up winning the match. And pretty much that was that. Overall, it was just an okay match in my opinion. Not great or perfect by any means. But post-match, we had Prince Nana end up handing Swerve a pair of scissors, and he used the scissors to cut off a lock of Killswitch's hair. So we end up seeing that. And then, as Dynamite came back from the commercial, we saw Tony Schiavone. Tony Schiavone ended up announcing that Tony Khan had made the match official for Mercedes Moné versus Skye Blue for the TBS Championship. So, the match was happening. So then we saw Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley was backstage. He was talking up the match tonight against Rocky Romero, and also his focus on defending the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship wherever he needs to. So pretty much that was basically what Moxley had to say. Oh my god, and then we get to this fucking segment. This awful fucking segment here. God. This whole segment was fucking terrible. We had the learning tree. We had Big Bill in the ring. Big Bill welcomed us to TV time with the learning tree. Apparently a talk show. And we had a rug in the ring that looked like grass. We had a big cardboard cutout of a tree. I'm like, am I watching fucking PBS Kids, or am I watching a pro wrestling show? I'm like, what the fuck is this? And then we had Chris Jericho end up making his way to the ring. Smiley Jericho comes out there, of course. Yeah. Smiley Jericho. Waving, smiling. So Chris Jericho ended up thanking Big Bill for the welcome, as his first student talks about leaves and trees. So Jericho hyped up the Learning Tree University t-shirt, and he had given himself praise as the FTW champion. If this is on AEWshop.com, a Learning Tree University t-shirt, my god, who the fuck would buy that? So Jericho ended up giving kudos to both Hook and Katsuyori Shibata for the fight that they both gave him at Double or Nothing. Jericho ended up saying that if adversity is ice cream, you always put a cherry on top. Jericho then welcomed his guest, Brian Keith. So Brian Keith ended up coming out. Jericho ended up asking Brian Keith what made him want to be sucked into the Jericho vortex and fall under the learning tree. So Brian Keith talked about the disrespect he's seen Jericho being given despite his accomplishments, knowing that anyone would be crazy not to jump at the opportunity. So the crowd was telling Brian Keith to shut up. Jericho ended up giving Brian Keith his due, saying that he recognizes that he is a bad man. Big Bill ended up saying maybe even a bad apple. And Jericho ended up agreeing that a bad apple doesn't fall far from the learning tree. So then Hook's music ended up hitting. Hook ended up running down the ramp, and Hook ended up being intercepted by security. So Hook ended up taking out the security, and as Hook ended up trying to make his way into the ring, of course, we had Jericho, when Hook came out, he's like, God. And then Samoa Joe's music ended up hitting. Samoa Joe ended up standing behind Hook. Samoa Joe ended up whispering something in Hook's ear. And then we saw Joe and Hook end up retreating up the ramp. And pretty much that was basically that. Jericho was like, "Oh, thank you for coming." What an awful fucking segment this was. Absolutely terrible. This was embarrassing to watch. Man, what is going on with AEW Creative? Did Tony Khan hire Vince McMahon to write creative for AEW? God. This whole learning tree thing is god awful. God awful. And Jericho out there, God. Yeah, we'll be seeing more of Smiley Jericho. And then we got a video package showcasing CMLL star and New Japan Strong Women's Champion Stephanie Vacker. And from this video package, we saw like little clips of matches that she had, and I gotta say, pretty decent. She is. From what I heard, she doesn't speak English. She speaks Spanish. So, if they get her to, speak a little English, that'll be good. Or just, have her just talk Spanish and then put subtitles, on underneath it. So, yeah. So we saw that. Pretty good video package of Stephanie Vacker. Then we had Jon Moxley versus Rocky Romero. This was an IWGP World Championship Eliminator match where Rocky Romero's looking to earn a shot at the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. And this was just meh, in my opinion. Didn't even care for it. Moxley ends up making his way out to the ring, and out came Rocky Romero. Rocky Romero ended up rushing at Moxley with a drop kick, which sent Moxley out of the ring. Romero ended up continuing to attack on the outside on Moxley. He slammed Moxley on the commentary table. Moxley started fighting back. He ended up sending Romero back into the ring. Romero laid into Moxley with some strikes, and so Moxley ended up turning things back around, sending Romero into the corner. Romero ended up shoving Moxley back. He ended up taking Moxley down with a stomp, and he started focusing on Moxley's injured arm. He ended up hanging Moxley up on the second rope to deliver another stomp. He pulled Moxley back to the ropes, and he was hanging up Moxley's injured arm. He ended up pulling Moxley in for more damage to Moxley's arm. And then Dynamite went to commercial. So then when Dynamite came back from the commercial, Moxley ended up sending Romero up on the top turnbuckle. He ended up taking Romero down to the canvas with a superplex. Romero then made his way to the corner, and Moxley started delivering some punches to him. He ended up taking it to the ropes. Both men started exchanging strikes to each other. Moxley ended up taking Romero down with a cutter to the canvas. So Moxley ended up making it back to his feet. Romero headed to the corner. Romero ended up taking Moxley down for a near fall, and then he transitioned into a cross arm breaker. Moxley ended up blocking the grip of the cross arm breaker. To counter out of that, he had pinned Romero with some knees to his head, and then Moxley locked in a bulldog choke. But the choke wasn't held in tight enough, so Romero ended up escaping out of that. He then snapped Moxley's arm. So at the end of the match, we had Moxley end up fighting Romero, and he had pinned a lariat to Romero, and then Moxley followed it up with a Death Rider. So Moxley ended up going for the cover, and there you go. Jon Moxley ended up winning the match. Overall, just a very meh match it was. And then we saw Renee Paquette. Renee Paquette was trying to get a word in with Samoa Joe and Hook after what transpired earlier, what Samoa Joe whispered in Hook's ear. So Joe ended up saying that a lesson was learned tonight, that they do not exist on their enemy's time, but their enemies will exist on their time. So Joe and Hook end up walking off, and pretty much that was basically that. So maybe Joe and Hook might be taking on Jericho and Big Bill. Maybe. That's how the way I see it. And then as Dynamite came back from the commercial, Don Callis headed to the ring. Don Callis had a contract in his hand, and it was a contract ready to be presented to a potential new member of the Don Callis family. So Don Callis got on the mic, and he ended up calling the contract more valuable than gold. And the crowd was booing the hell out of Don Callis. So Don Callis ended up talking about how he sees himself in Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy ended up making his way out to the stage. Cassidy walked down the ramp, and he rolled into the ring. Callis ended up saying that this is the moment we've all been waiting for. Callis ended up asking Orange Cassidy if he should do this with his hand in his pocket. He ended up calling Orange Cassidy a star wherever he goes. Callis ended up saying that Orange Cassidy's, that some people say that he's confused with his past choices. But Callis ended up saying that he wants to help Orange Cassidy by presenting him with this contract to join the Don Callis family. So Callis ended up saying that he's filled everything out for Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy ended up taking the contract from Don Callis' hands. So Cassidy held up the contract, and he slowly ripped the contract in half, right in front of Don Callis. So Orange Cassidy then grabbed the mic. He ended up saying, "Hey Don, no." So Don Callis grabbed the mic back. He ended up saying, "No one says no to him." So Stokely Hathaway ended up interrupting. So Stokely Hathaway came out alongside Chris Statlander. So Stokely Hathaway ended up running down Orange Cassidy, saying that Orange Cassidy is just like Will Nightingale. So Stokely Hathaway handed the mic to Chris Statlander. Chris Statlander ended up saying that on behalf of her best friend, she accepts the invitation to the Don Callis family. So he cut back to the ring. Trent Beretta was in the corner. Trent Beretta blindsided Orange Cassidy with a knee strike. Trent then continued beating down on Orange Cassidy as Chris Statlander and Stokely Hathaway end up leaving to the back. And eventually, we saw Trent Beretta and Don Callis end up hugging it out. You know, the best friends hug where the camera ends up, panning all the way back. So Don Callis kept one foot on Orange Cassidy. And then he ended up leaving the ring after, stomping on Cassidy. Trent ended up laying in one more stomp. And then him and Don Callis end up retreating up the ramp. And from, this beatdown, Orange Cassidy was busted open. And pretty much that was basically that. So this feud is still continuing. Can we put this feud to rest already? And then we went backstage and we saw Renee Paquette. She was talking to Danny Garcia and Matt Menard, Daddy Magic. Danny Garcia ended up telling Renee about getting out of the mud and taking his muddy boots and dragging them across red carpets. He ended up setting out to challenge for the International Championship. So he wants a shot at the International Championship. And this Saturday on Collision, it's going to be Will Ospreay versus Kyle O'Reilly. So that should be a good match there. Looking forward to it. Apparently, Collision is going to be taped tomorrow, and it's going to be aired on Saturday. So Saturday's Collision will be a taped show. And then we had Mercedes Mone versus Skye Blue. TBS Championship on the line. Now all I gotta ask is, what did Skye Blue do to earn an opportunity at the TBS Championship? Absolutely nothing. So we're just giving free title shots. This is something that Vince McMahon did when he was in creative of the WWE, where he would give, free title shots. No opportunity to earn a shot at a title. Oh, here's your free ticket. Go and be in a title match. Yeah, this was just a okay match here. So, match ended up getting the way. Mercedes ended up laying into Skye Blue with a flurry of offense, and she ended up getting a near fall, sending Skye Blue out of the ring. Skye Blue ended up taking a breather on the outside. Mercedes caught Skye Blue on the outside with a Meteora off the apron. She ended up sending Skye Blue back into the ring. We had Mercedes end up going for the cover. Skye Blue kicked out. So Skye Blue ended up hitting a draping neck breaker on Mercedes. She ended up going for the cover, and Mercedes ended up kicking out. So then Dynamite went to commercial. Then when Dynamite came back from the commercial, Skye Blue ended up sending Mercedes into the corner. Mercedes started fighting back, driving Skye Blue's head into the turnbuckle, and she ended up following up with a run of Meteora. Mercedes ended up going for the cover, to which Skye Blue ended up kicking out. Mercedes ended up pulling Skye Blue into the corner. She ended up climbing up, but she was then intercepted with a kick to the face by Skye Blue. So Skye Blue was going for a powerbomb, but it got reversed by Mercedes. Mercedes ended up hitting her Karana on Skye Blue. Skye Blue then started to fight back with a face buster on Mercedes. She ended up going for the cover, and Mercedes ended up kicking out. Mercedes ended up finding out of a fireman's carry by Skye Blue, and Mercedes ended up hitting the knee strike, but she took a thrust kick by Skye Blue. Skye Blue ended up going for the code blue on Mercedes, but Mercedes countered that, and Mercedes ended up hitting the Monet Maker. Horrible new finisher for Mercedes. So she ended up going for the cover, and there you go. Mercedes Monet ended up winning the match, retaining the TBS Championship. Post-match, we had New Japan Strong Women's Champion and CMLL star Stephanie Baker. So Stephanie Baker ended up raising the New Japan Strong Women's Championship in the air. Mercedes held up the TBS Championship, and that was that. So it looks like we're going to be getting Stephanie Baker versus Mercedes Mone at Forbidden Door. So we had Renee Paquette. She ended up trying to get an update on Orange Cassidy after what went down earlier, but she was then interrupted by Stokely Hathaway. Stokely Hathaway started running down Will Nightingale, saying that he remembers what Chris Statlander has had to put up with the past few months. So Stokely ended up hyping up Statlander, pointing out that she came back from back-to-back ACL injuries when others don't want to show up for work after getting a cold. So Statlander took the mic. She was talking about how much she's been expected to help everyone else out lately. Statlander then called herself more than a woman, saying that she's tired of being everyone's protector, and that everyone is now going to need protection from her. So that was what Statlander had to say. You know, Statlander could be on a pretty interesting, heel run here, if booked correctly. And then we saw a video package of MJF's return, or I forgot to mention when I talked about my thoughts on Double or Nothing, MJF ended up returning, and he ended up low blowing Adam Cole. So really good that MJF is back finally, but he wasn't even on the show tonight. Apparently, MJF will be on next week's Dynamite. So wow, MJF returns, and you don't have him come on Dynamite tonight. So then we had the Young Bucks. They ended up making their way out to the ring. They were displaying their World Tag Team Championship. So the Bucks ended up making it down to the ramp, and they dropped the coin to signal Kazuchika Okada to come out, the Rainmaker. So Okada ended up coming out, the Continental Champion, and then Jack Perry made his way out. So the Elite ended up entering the ring. So Okada ended up getting on the mic, and what was really hilarious, Okada got on the mic, he ended up telling the crowd, "Shut up, bitches," which, was hilarious. So Jack Perry then ended up speaking up. He ended up saying that the Elite run things. Jack Perry then addressed, Team AEW, and also him being set on fire by Darby Allin with the flamethrower. So Perry ended up saying not only did the Elite win Anarchy in the arena, but he got his piece of the dragon when he pinned Bryan Danielson. So Nicholas then talked up. He was promoting the Bucks' pumps, the Reebok pump shoes that got released. Very nice looking, shoes there. Always wanted a pair of Reebok pumps. So we had the Bucks end up presenting a gift to Okada. And their gift to Okada was a Lamborghini. Very nice looking Lamborghini. So Okada ended up looking on the verge of tears. He ended up saying, "If this is a dream." So he was like, "Is this a dream? Is this a dream?" So he was fake crying, Okada. Awful. This was awful. So Nicholas started leading the chant of "You deserve it." So Matthew ended up saying that it's time to talk business. He ended up taking blame for Adam Copeland's injury. He ended up claiming that he told Copeland, "Good luck," and break a leg. Matthew ended up saying that they're praying for Copeland's recovery, and that they must strip him of the TNT Championship. So they end up saying that they have a situation to settle. So the Bucks end up announcing that Jack Perry is the new TNT champion. But wait a minute. The celebration was cut short as Christopher Daniels made his way to the ring. So Christopher Daniels ended up announcing that Tony Khan has named him the interim executive vice president, meaning that when he makes the announcement, it comes straight from Tony Khan himself. Christopher Daniels ended up saying that if Jack Perry wants to be champion, he has to earn it, because this is AEW, where the best wrestle. He ended up saying over the next couple of weeks, there will be qualifying matches for a shot at the TNT Championship at Forbidden Door, which will be a ladder match. So the Elite end up looking to beat down on Christopher Daniels, but Christopher Daniels was backed up by the Acclaimed. So pretty much that was that. But it looks like we're going to be getting a tournament. You know how Tony Khan loves his tournaments. So probably get a tournament, and it's going to lead to, Forbidden Door, and it will be a ladder match. Whoever wins the tournament qualifying matches, they will go on to be in the ladder match at Forbidden Door. But yeah, Christopher Daniels coming out there, he reminded me of Adam Pearce. This is AEW's version of Adam Pearce and Christopher Daniels, I have to say. So then we have Prince Nana. Prince Nana hyped up Swerve. He ended up addressing getting some revenge on Killswitch. And he's looking ahead to the main event, which was the Casino Gauntlet match. So then as Dynamite came back from the commercial, we had Roosh. Roosh ended up calling out MJF. So I guess Roosh wants a shot at MJF here. So we'll be getting that. Good to see Roosh versus MJF. Then we got the main event, the Casino Gauntlet match. The winner of the match will get a shot at Swerve for the AEW World Championship at Forbidden Door. So we had Pac in the match, and then we had Jay White. They both started off. Then we had Mystico ended up coming out. He was the third entry in this. So Mystico was in there from CMLL. Fourth entry was Will Ospreay. Of course, Will Ospreay got a big pop from the crowd there. Of course, your international champion was in this. So Ospreay was good here in the match. So you had the fifth entry come out, and it was Shota Umino from New Japan. So he was the fifth entrant in it. Claudio Castagnoli was the sixth entrant in this gauntlet match. And then the seventh entrant arrived. And it was Leo Rush. Yes, Leo Rush. He came out to a big pop from the crowd. It's been a while since I've seen, Leo Rush on TV. All of you know that he accompanied Bobby Lashley when, he was in WWE, when Leo Rush was in WWE, the whole Lashley. But Leo Rush is good in the ring. There are points, that he did where he said he was going to retire, and then he came back. He said he was retired again, came back. So I'm like, oh, now that he was in this gauntlet match, is he going to announce his retirement again? So but Leo Rush, very quick in the ring. And then the eighth entry came out, and it was Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy came out. He had a bandage around his head. And I'm like, How the hell is he in this match when he got beaten down by Trent Beretta and Don Callis earlier in the night? So he recuperated that fast? And then the ninth entry came out, and it was CMLL's Hechicero. So the match was won by Will Ospreay. Orange Cassidy ended up going for Orange Punch. Ospreay evaded it for an Oz Cutter on Orange Cassidy. Ospreay ended up going for the cover, and there you go. Will Ospreay won the match, and so Will Ospreay gets to face Swerve Strickland for the AEW World Championship at Forbidden Door. So we're going to see Will Ospreay 2 belts. So Swerve Strickland made his way down the ramp after the match. He ended up heading down to the ring to stare down Will Ospreay. And that was how Dynamite went off the air. But overall, I thought this Casino Gauntlet match, I thought was pretty good. The crowd was into it. But like I said, we're going to see Ospreay 2 belts at Forbidden Door. You know, we're going to have him as the International Champion and the World Champion. Who knows? But overall, Dynamite tonight, terrible show it was. Absolutely awful. But anyways, that's it for the Dynamite review. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed this review. Definitely give the video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and I will see you all on Friday for SmackDown. So, see you then.